is, I guess, the introductory video as to what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and what this is all going to be about. So really for me, I just wanted to create this sort of space to share my experiences, but also hear other people's too. I believe it's such a undermined topic, or it doesn't really get discussed as much as, for example, the obesity epidemic, and I feel like there is just as much risk for someone underweight as opposed to someone who's overweight. And I just believe that as much as mental health and talking about it is on the rise, I feel like still within this area it's not really heavily discussed, and I'd like to change that. And I would also like to change, I guess, the approach to how we can improve recovery and reduce the risk of relapse. I feel like from my personal experience, and it is my personal opinion, it's not to say that happens across the board, it's not to say that this is what it is, it's just my experience and how I felt at the time and also how I feel now, to be honest. And even when you watch, or when I watch documentaries and things about anorexia, I just personally feel that I guess the crux of my eating disorder was never really discussed, or never really understood, or never really even touched upon. I feel like as much as you can, I guess the generic understanding is that, well, let's just feed you more and then you'll gain weight and that'll be it. There's such limitation within the mental health side of it, and it's a mental condition. Yes, there's obviously physical aspects to it, of course there is, but the mental effects somewhat outweigh that, and I believe that was never really addressed in my recovery. I feel like it was very brushed under the rug, and again, eating to gain weight, and that was sort of it, and that's not really dealing with the issue. And maybe that's the reason why there are such high rates of relapse and unfortunately mortality, because there isn't that stability within that, and because there isn't that knowledge or understanding of how to deal with it, or how to talk to people who have it. There's just a lot of things, and it's obviously a huge topic. And that's not to say, like I said, that the whole of the healthcare system is flawed in this area. I believe there are very knowledgeable people out there who do understand the illness, but at the same time, from what I experienced, I can see why people don't get better. And the way in which I sort of dealt with mine, like I said previously, was very controversial, and I think purely because there was a point where I wasn't allowed to exercise within during my eating disorder, but I truly believe to some extent that had I not have had that reintroduced into my life, I don't know where I'd be. I mean, I may be better, I may be worse, I couldn't tell you, but I truly believe that it did have a positive influence on my recovery. Okay, so I guess we'll introduce and then we'll explain. So my name's Charlotte, I'm 24, and I'm currently studying for my Masters up in Manchester, and I am recovering from an eating disorder, more specifically anorexia nervosa, and this has been ongoing for about 10 years, I'd say, with the most recent years being the most positive, which is good, a very good thing. So I guess the reason why I wanted to sort of create these videos and my purpose behind why I'm doing this is to show my experience and elevate the talking of this eating disorder and how much of an effect it can have, not just on yourself, but on family members, friends, people that love and care about you, and more so make it more of a community thing and openly talk about stuff, because I believe that it gets so overshadowed by other disorders. So things such as the obesity epidemic, I feel like that's been a huge thing within recent years, and someone who's underweight is just as at risk of developing similar comorbidities to overweight people, and it's a huge mental illness that just doesn't really get spoken about that much. It has gotten better as mental health awareness has increased, but I still do believe that there is a lot more to talk about and a lot more to understand, and I think that's something within the system that I experienced that should and needs to be improved upon. So really what I want to do is share my experiences, what I went through, how I was feeling, but also share other people's stories, or just listen to other people and see it from different perspectives, because I think it's such an important factor, because it's not just you, it's everyone else who's involved within this circle, and it would just be really interesting to get other people's points of view and draw similarities, find differences, and find ways in which we can help improve the system more, and how we can reduce the amount of relapse, and how we can limit the risk of morbidity and mortality, as well as improve recovery rate. That is the main thing, and if this can help one person, then I feel like it's done its job and I've done my part, and it's such a positive thing. But yeah, so this is pretty much what it's going to be about. I'll choose sort of topics as we go as well that I sort of experienced, and I guess highlight, like I said, the things that I feel like need to be improved upon. And I'm no expert in this field, although I've experienced it firsthand. It's my personal opinion. It doesn't mean that this happens across the board. There could be great facilities that cater to every need, but I am just going to give what I felt in my experiences, truthfully, and yeah, to the point, I guess. It's not like constant criticism, but it's, I guess, more constructive criticism, shall we say. Not that I know it all. There are some things that were great and there were some things that weren't great, but like I said, I'm just going to discuss it and share my experiences. And yeah, I feel like I'm more ready now than ever to talk about stuff, but also try and help. And the way in which I recovered, I wouldn't say is, I'd say it's pretty controversial, and I think my approach, and one of the things that I would like to get across from this channel, is the effects of exercise in recovery. And I think it's such a hot topic in terms of like the frailty of it, and the fragility. I think that's the same word pretty much, but it's something that I feel like within my recovery and during like the pivotal moments in my journey, I feel that the actual crux of my eating disorder and why it developed, maybe not even necessarily giving the reason why, but the mental side of things was never discussed, the psychological, to the extent that it needed to be. I feel like the main focus on was just getting me to eat more, and that meant if I'd gained weight then I was better, and I feel like it's not addressing the direct problem. And I feel like with something like exercise in anorexia, granted it's not always taken advantage of, there's so many, every case is different, but for me personally, over exercising and using that as a method to lose weight was what I experienced. And I want to sort of shed light to that in terms of being like addressing it, I guess. I think within it itself, when people are told that they're not allowed to exercise during their recovery, or they need to stop exercising due to health issues, I feel like there's never been that reintroduction to it. And I feel like, put it in most simplest terms, like you can't expect someone to not exercise their entire life. like it's just not feasible. And I feel like if you never address that issue, it's never going to get better, or they're going to struggle more to reincorporate it. They don't know the extent of which is too much, due to obviously previously overdoing it and taking advantage of that. So I believe that it's a huge area that is limited in its addressment during recovery, and I feel like I never really got help with it, but I didn't, to be honest. No, I didn't at all. And for me, reintroducing it, I don't know whether that's because I don't know whether I got worse before I got better, because I didn't really know how to adjust to normal life, and so I believe that trying to implement it in a healthy way and make sure that that's in a healthy way is something that needs to be addressed, and I feel like that's super important. And if I can help people find that balance, then that's great, because at the end of the day, it's fixed into us that obviously physical activity is a beneficial thing for everyone, for quality of life and fitness and health. But how do you expect someone with an eating disorder, or who has previously had an eating disorder, to safely reincorporate that into their life? I feel like there's just been a massive mishap with that. So one of my main missions for this channel is to help improve that, and to help actually do that, help those. And whether that means getting more people on board, so be it. I just want it to help as many people as possible and to reduce that chance of relapse. It's all about increasing that knowledge and understanding. I'm going to learn things as we go, and that's what I sort of want it to be about. I want to see it from everybody's perspective, and especially from like people who are watching you go through this, so like family members, loved ones, friends, and see their point of view. And it's going to be very controversial, but that is what's going to help this grow, hopefully. So that's the angle we're going at, and I hope it, like I said, I hope it can help anyone to feel better and happier and positive, because this is what it's about. It's about finding that happiness again and not feeling like you're doing it on your own, because I know that I felt very alone when I was going through my recovery, and it's not anyone's fault, but if we can try and make that less lonely, then that's only going to be a good thing. So I've rambled on for a little bit too long, I do apologise, but I hope as we go that you'll follow the journey with me, and we can help improve the system in regards to recovery in anorexia and eating disorders, and improving mental health and quality of life, and that being the focus. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope that you can learn something from this. I know I'm going to be learning as I go, and I hope that it does open that door for people to feel like they can talk about it, and just feel like you're not the only person that experienced it. Even though your experience may be different, we can find some similarities, or just even talking about it is the main thing. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video, or you'll see me. I won't see you, but yeah. All right, thank you. I don't know why I said that like that. That was like I was leaving school. I will see you in the next video. Bye.